Alright, my name is Brianna. This is my horse River. He's an off-track thoroughbred, about 8 years old, and he's been off the track for somewhere between 1 and 2 years. My video camera is my brother Ben, and so today we're going to talk a little bit about what we call the friendly game. It's based on the Parelli friendly game, but it's not exactly the same. None of our methods are directly endorsed by any particular trainer. So another thing you need to be aware of when you're working with your horse on the friendly game is your own body language. You don't want to approach your horse like this, head on, and staring and very focused. As you can see, that makes him want to move away. You want to approach him gently, side on, or just very gently, about a quarter turn into him like this. But just like you're going to pet him. You don't want a very focused, concentrated attitude. If you're approaching a horse head on like this, he thinks you're a tiger that's going to get him. And you don't want that to come across when you're working with him. Let's also briefly go over our equipment. For our equipment today, we have a rope, just a regular old rope. We also have a rope halter. I'm a big fan of the rope halter for any horse that tends to lean into the halter or shove against it. It's definitely not something you have to have, but it can be a very useful training tool. Another thing that we will have is a stick. Our stick it can be as long as you want it. This is just a dowel that's been rounded off both ends, and it has a hole through it, and I have a string attached. We never use the stick as a whip to hit the horse with at all. It's just like an extension of our arm. So I can pet him with it, I can touch him with it. It's not a punishment. So you may be wondering, why do I need to do this with my horse? What is the purpose of this? Well, I'll tell you. One of the purposes is obviously so that you can touch your horse all over. A lot of horses are sensitive with their legs or sensitive with their hindquarters. You don't want that with your horse, because what if he ends up with an injury? For example, River had an injury on his back leg just the other day. If I hadn't been able to touch that, I can't treat it, and then it can get infected, and it can cause a serious problem with the vet coming out, with a lot of money spent, possibly with him getting seriously injured from what started as just a minor cut. But since I was able to touch him all over, it's okay, and now it's healing over and doing just fine. Another reason is for when you're going on a trail ride. So let's pretend that I'm on River right now, which I'm not, and let's go through some of this stuff over here. That may not look like a really big deal, but to a horse that's not accustomed to having things touch it on its legs, on its neck, on its back, that can be a very big deal that leads to spooking and bolting and you falling off. That's a problem. If you teach the horse the appropriate way to respond when something spooks it, you won't have a problem of a horse running off on trail rides nearly so often. You may still have it, but it won't be nearly as severe. Okay, so to do the friendly game, first you're going to approach your horse softly, without being extremely focused on any one thing. Then you're going to make sure that he's okay with you touching him all over with your hands. For different horses in different environments, this is going to mean different things. Ideally, you want him relaxed, like about so, and not too tense as you're touching him all over. If there's any area he's particularly sensitive with, say he didn't want me touching him right here on his shoulder, then I'm going to start right here where he's okay, and I'm going to slowly work closer to his shoulder. When he gets tense, I'm going to work back up to where he's comfortable. I'm going to work slowly closer to his shoulder, go back up where he's comfortable, go back to his shoulder, continue like that. It may take me weeks, but I'll eventually get to the point where he's comfortable with me touching his shoulder, and then I'll gradually work back using the same techniques. Pet him where he's comfortable, work a little bit here. When he gets tense, retreat, go back where he's comfortable, work a little bit closer, go back where he's comfortable, and repeat. Then you're going to do the same thing with the stick without the string. Just patting him all over with it. On his legs, in between his legs, gently around his face, making sure he's alright. Then you're going to use a string. You're going to throw it up gently and pull it off. Throw it up gently and pull it off. Wrap it gently around his legs, pull it off. Wrap it gently around his legs. Oops. Wrap it gently around his legs, pull it off. Repeat like that until he's relaxed. One thing that a lot of horses will be scared of is a paper bag. And so you can continue using that to get them used to scary situations. You're going to want to start it way far away. See if he's comfortable. If he is, you can gradually move it closer. And use the same principle. If he's uncomfortable, back off to where he's comfortable and gradually bring it closer, move it away, bring it closer, move it away, bring it closer until he's alright with it. You can pet him with it if he's still alright and comfortable. And you can move on to other things. You can use a plastic bag, or you can use a raincoat, or another coat. Sometimes if a horse is particularly nervous about something, you can help them gain confidence by letting them follow it. So I would hold it right here, and I would back away. And let him follow it. Let him follow it and gradually get close enough to touch his nose to it.